So you want to know how to stop being anxious, how to switch it off, how to finally get rid of it. And I get that because that's exactly what most people come to see me for. But this video is actually about a slightly uncomfortable truth. The very thing you're trying to do, stop being anxious, is very likely the single biggest reason that you still are. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Tim Box. I'm a mind coach and anxiety therapist. And for more than a decade now, I've been helping people understand anxiety and finally get the other side of it. And when I'm working one-to-one with clients, one of the biggest shifts in understanding that I need them to make is this: stop trying to stop anxiety. Let me explain how this works. Most people think anxiety arrived, like it turned up one day uninvited and changed everything. Even those that tell me they think they were born like this will usually be able to tell me the time when it started to get out of hand and became an ongoing problem. But here's the thing, anxiety didn't suddenly appear. You were always capable of feeling anxious, and that's not because you're broken, that's just because you're human. The difference is, there was a time when anxiety didn't mean anything bad. It came and went without being analysed. It didn't get labelled. It didn't ring any alarm bells. But then at some point, maybe after a panic episode, a period of stress, or some random frightening bodily sensation, anxiety itself became the thing you were frequently, maybe constantly, checking for. That's when it stopped being background noise and started feeling like a problem. Not because it got stronger, but because it started being monitored. And now you find yourself in that sticky situation of trying to get back to the time when you didn't feel anxious. Except, of course, that time never actually existed. You're now trying to achieve a complete lack of any anxiety. No thoughts, no sensations. When you can't achieve that, you're telling yourself you must still have an anxiety issue. And as a result, you're just creating more anxiety about that. This is where anxiety becomes a loop. There's the first fear, anxiety doing what it's designed to do, flagging something as important, and then there's the second fear, the fear of the anxiety itself. Why do I feel like this? What if this never stops? What if this means something's wrong with me? What if one day I just can't cope? That second layer is what creates the anxiety feedback cycle. Because once anxiety itself is seen as dangerous, your mind quite logically keeps focusing on it, trying to protect you from it. And that's why anxiety feels relentless. Not because it is, but because you're now stuck in a loop of reacting to your own reactions. Relief from anxiety doesn't come from taking some action to defeat or overcome it. It comes from recognizing that none of these thoughts or sensations represent a threat. They're not signs of illness or malfunction. They're natural. They can't hurt me, and thus they don't threaten me. It's coming out the other side of the fear that cancels the stress response and allows us to return to calm. Yes, still feeling anxious about the day-to-day things that challenge us, but no longer taking that next step of interpreting that anxiety as a problem. At this point, most people nod along, and then they might start to come back with some yeah buts. Yeah, but it feels horrible. Here's an important distinction. The sensations themselves aren't horrible. In fact, you deliberately create very similar sensations all the time. Doing some exercise, watching a scary film, riding a roller coaster. These experiences all create very similar, if not identical, sensations to anxiety or panic. A racing heart, tight chest, tense muscles, sweaty palms, shaky legs, they all get the adrenaline pumping. But of course, none of those sensations are inherently bad. What makes them unpleasant is the story attached to them. The belief that they mean something is wrong, that they shouldn't be there, that they're a sign of danger or malfunction. Take away that meaning and the sensations lose their sting. They're just sensations. Yeah, but I don't want to feel like this forever. Well, you won't. Every emotional state you've ever experienced has passed. Anxiety is no exception. What keeps it showing up day after day isn't permanence, it's repetition. Every time you treat anxiety as a problem, your mind recreates it. Every time you scan your body or thoughts to check if it's still there, you reactivate the stress response. So it's not that anxiety is refusing to leave, It's that it keeps getting re-invited. It might feel like a constant, but it isn't. It comes and goes, and only comes again because you continue to regard it as a threat. Yeah, but surely I have to do something. This is often the hardest thing to accept, and the biggest trap we fall into. Very often we struggle to be at peace with the idea that there's just nothing we need to do about this. After all, for every problem, there's a solution, right? Well, yeah, that makes sense, but the mistake we've made here is in labeling anxiety as a problem. It's only that makes us seek a solution. In truth, anxiety is the emotion your mind uses to focus you on whatever it thinks is important. So if you keep telling yourself, this anxiety must go, I need to fix this, I can't live like this, your mind hears, this is important, and responds with more anxiety to focus you on the important thing. Then as the anxiety increases, its level of importance increases, encouraging your mind to send you more anxiety about it. Trying harder doesn't calm anxiety, it just confirms that it matters. The paradox is this: the less you try to do about anxiety, the less reason your mind has to keep creating it and the less attention you pay to it. There's one other important thing I want to point out about all of this, but before I do that, if the information in this video is resonating with you and you'd like some more help, then I have a members area of this channel where you get access to my full anxiety relief program and weekly live Q&As with me. Or if you'd like to go a step further than that and get some one-to-one guidance, then you can book in with me for a free online consultation and we'll find out if I can be of help. You'll find links to both of those options in the description below. But what was that last little bit I wanted to tell you about? So here's something I often hear in sessions. Everything's better now, but there's just a small bit of anxiety left that I can't seem to get rid of. And that last bit, it's always the same thing. It's the need to be anxiety-free. It's like sitting in a quiet room with a ticking clock. If you need silence, that clock becomes unbearable. But if you accept that ticking is just what clocks do, you stop noticing it surprisingly quickly. Anxiety works the same way. Stop trying to eliminate it and you stop hearing it. So if you're asking, how do I stop being anxious? Here's the honest answer. You stop treating anxiety like something that needs stopping. You stop monitoring it. You stop correcting it. You stop arguing with it. Because it was never dangerous, never permanent, and never something that needed fixing. It was just an emotion. It was always a part of you just doing its job. And once you understand that, it naturally quietens down. If this video has helped, please give it a like and share it with others. And why not subscribe to the channel for weekly content just like this? In fact, you can see another one of my videos right now by clicking right here. But that's it for this one. I'm Tim Box. Always remember, be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.